In controlling blood sugar, it is important to suppress the rapid rise in blood glucose levels. There are various methods for controlling blood glucose levels, including dietary therapy, pharmacotherapy, aerobic exercise, and improving the gut environment. Even if one thinks they are eating a healthy diet, controlling a sudden increase in blood glucose levels can be difficult, and many people struggle with effectively managing their blood sugar. This time, we will introduce drinks low in carbohydrates, drinks that help lower blood glucose levels, and drinks that can further increase blood sugar. We hope this will alleviate some of the everyday concerns about blood sugar control for people with diabetes or those concerned about their blood glucose levels. Additionally, we will explore whether artificial sweeteners and vegetable juices, which do not increase blood glucose levels, are safe for diabetics, addressing such questions alongside. Hello, we are Medivery University Hospital. Our channel provides information about diseases and medical health according to a Japanese physician. If you are interested, please subscribe to our channel. Diabetes definition. Diabetes is diagnosed when the fasting blood glucose level is 126 milligrams per deciliter or higher, and hemoglobin A1C is 6.5% or higher. Blood glucose mechanism. Carbohydrates ingested from food are broken down into glucose, and this glucose in the blood is absorbed by the intestinal tract, leading to an increase in blood glucose levels. When an increase in blood glucose levels is detected, insulin is secreted from the islets of Langerhans in the pancreas to suppress the rise in blood glucose levels and regulate it to prevent excessive increases. However, repeating irregular eating habits and consuming large amounts of sugars and carbohydrates can result in insufficient insulin production, and the accumulation of visceral fat due to obesity can decrease pancreatic function, leading to an increase in blood glucose levels. With decreased pancreatic function, symptoms such as delayed insulin secretion, insufficient secretion, and reduced effectiveness of insulin, necessitating excessive insulin, lead to chronic hyperglycemia. Dietary habits for lowering blood glucose levels. Blood glucose levels primarily rise after eating. To prevent an increase in postprandial blood glucose levels, choose foods with a low GI. GI stands for glycemic index, which indicates the rate of absorption of carbohydrates in food and measures the sugar concentration in the blood up to 2 hours after eating. The GI value is independent of calories, meaning that foods with a high GI value tend to raise blood glucose levels more quickly, while those with a low GI value result in a more gradual increase in blood glucose levels. Therefore, to prevent a rise in blood glucose levels, it is necessary to select foods with a low GI value. Drinks low in carbohydrates. Let me introduce some readily available drinks that are low in carbohydrates. Water contains no carbohydrates, so it is a recommended drink when you are thirsty. Unsweetened sparkling water and herbal tea also contain no carbohydrates, so they do not directly affect blood glucose levels. Unadjusted soy milk, unlike adjusted soy milk, has no added sugar or oil, thus allowing for carbohydrate restriction. Drinks to suppress the rise of blood glucose levels. Green tea contains catechins and black tea contains polyphenols, which slow down the absorption of sugar and help suppress the rise in blood glucose levels. Yacon tea is rich in fructooligosaccharides, providing a sweet taste and containing dietary fiber, which slows the absorption of sugar, thus helping to control the increase in blood glucose levels. The hot water extract of yacon leaves has an effect similar to insulin, suppressing the postprandial rise in blood glucose levels. The hot water extract of guava leaves and mulberry leaves reduces the efficiency of sugar breakdown, slowing the absorption of sugar and thereby suppressing the rise in blood glucose levels. Mulberry leaves also have antioxidant properties, and it is said that alleviating oxidative stress can improve blood sugar control. Black soybean tea, containing black soybean polyphenols, can activate energy metabolism, thus promoting insulin secretion and potentially controlling the rise in blood glucose levels. Milk, when consumed with a meal, can help suppress the rise in blood glucose levels. It is often referred to as a low glycemic index food, and the lactose in milk takes time to break down, leading to a gradual increase in blood glucose levels. However, drinking too much milk can lead to excessive fat intake, so it is best to limit it to about 1 cup. People with reduced kidney function or those on dialysis need to be cautious with milk and dairy product intake and should consult with their doctor or a registered dietitian before consuming. Coffee, when consumed with a meal, can help control the rise in blood glucose levels. Both caffeinated and decaffeinated coffee can suppress the postprandial rise in blood glucose levels. Coffee contains chlorogenic acid, a type of polyphenol, which slows the absorption of sugar and helps control the rise in blood glucose levels. Coffee also has effects that promote fat burning and suppress active oxygen. It is recommended to drink coffee unsweetened or with a little milk added. However, excessive caffeine intake can lead to sleep disorders, dizziness, excitement, anxiety, nausea, diarrhea, and increased heart rate. Be careful not to drink too much coffee, focusing only on its effect in controlling blood sugar elevation. The recommended daily intake of caffeine is up to 400 milligrams, equivalent to about 3 cups of coffee in a mug. Tomato juice is recommended in the morning to help control the rise in blood glucose levels. The antioxidant effect of lycopene in tomatoes helps promote insulin activity by removing active oxygen in the blood, thus controlling the rapid increase in blood glucose levels. Apple cider vinegar, when consumed about 15 milliliters 1 to 2 times a day before meals, can help control the rise in blood glucose levels. However, taking apple cider vinegar directly can stimulate gastric juice secretion and cause gastrointestinal disorders. So it should be diluted with water or sparkling water to reduce stomach irritation. Drinks that raise blood glucose levels. Even though we pay attention to blood sugar control, we often crave sweet drinks. Drinking sweet beverages can make the throat dry, increasing the desire for more fluids and leading to a negative loop of consuming more sweet drinks. It is important to recognize the beverages that contribute to an increase in blood glucose levels and break out of this negative loop. Sports drink. Sports drinks contain a high amount of sugar. During exercise, many people might drink a lot in a short time to prevent dehydration. But consuming a large amount of sugar quickly can lead to possible consciousness disorders. Caution is needed when consuming these drinks. Alcohol. Alcohol intake stimulates the breakdown of glycogen in the liver into glucose, leading to high blood sugar. Excessive alcohol consumption can impair liver and pancreas function, worsening blood sugar control and leading to high or low blood sugar levels. Therefore, people with diabetes are generally advised to abstain from alcohol. Fruit juice. Fruit juice allows for the intake of large amounts of fructose contained in fruits. Consuming fructose quickly can lead to a rapid increase in blood glucose levels. Artificial sweeteners. Have you ever heard that artificial sweeteners that don't raise blood glucose levels are safe? There are manufacturers who claim that artificial sweeteners like saccharin, aspartame, neotame, sucralose, and acsulfame potassium are good for dieting because they are 0 calorie. Indeed, there are benefits for people with diabetes or obesity to enjoy sweetness while controlling their blood glucose levels and keeping calorie intake low. However, it might be dangerous to be too reassured. Continuous consumption of artificial sweeteners can dull the taste buds and lead to a subconscious desire to consume more due to dependency. Additionally, continuously experiencing sweetness without an increase in blood glucose levels can confuse the brain, leading to a stronger craving for sweet things and potentially resulting in overeating. Therefore, it is important not to be overconfident that it is okay to consume as much as you want because it doesn't raise blood glucose levels, and to be cautious of overconsumption. Vegetable juice. Many people may have the image that vegetable juice is easy to drink and good for health. Dietary fiber in vegetables can slow down the absorption of sugar, thereby preventing a rapid increase in blood glucose levels. However, in reality, vegetable juice does not contain dietary fiber. Instead, it contains a high amount of sugar to make it taste easier to drink, which can cause a rapid increase in blood glucose levels. When consuming vegetable juice, be cautious of the rise in blood glucose levels. Summary. A rapid increase in blood glucose levels places a significant burden on the body. Therefore, it is important to prevent a sudden rise in blood glucose levels and to raise it gradually. Consuming the beverages introduced here regularly can help prevent a rapid increase in blood glucose levels. However, even if you actively consume beverages that are expected to lower blood glucose levels or slow the rise in blood glucose levels, there is a risk of experiencing a rapid increase in blood glucose levels if you have a disturbed intestinal environment or a diet that disregards calories. Why not start with the beverages introduced here that are easier to incorporate into your life while paying attention to revising your diet and improving your gut health? We want to know what you would like to see made into a video. If you have any health questions or unexplained symptoms that you're concerned about, please let us know in the comments section. If you found this video informative and interesting, please like and subscribe to encourage us in our future activities. Thank you for watching.